But even as Putin presses his attack and tries to turn around his disastrous invasion, it's already backfired in a big way. Listen to this. He wanted to stop the expansion of the NATO alliance, but today, Sweden and Finland suggested they might both apply for NATO membership soon. Retired Air Force Lieutenant General David Deptula now. He served as Chief of Air Force Intelligence, Surveillance, and Reconnaissance and planned successful air campaigns in Iraq and Afghanistan. General, thank you. The U.S. giving more weapons to Ukraine today, some that they wanted, including helicopters. How big of a difference might these new weapon systems make?
Well, Shep, while the administration ought to be commended for what it's done so far, it's really not enough. The new package is a step in the right direction, as it may indicate an overdue shift in U.S. policy that kind of cracks the self-imposed embargo on higher-end military capabilities for Ukraine. But they're still not the kinds of weapons necessary to repel the Russian invasion.
Like what?
Well, let me explain why. You kind of mentioned some of this, but now that it's evident that the war is likely to be a protracted conflict and Russia's regrouped based on its performance, we simply can't expect just more of the same stumbling by Putin's forces. And that means the kinds of arms that Ukraine needs are changing. Its commanders need better air defense systems, longer range weapons than they currently have, such as fighter aircraft to supplement their Air Force losses, multiple launch rocket systems, anti-ship missiles, larger drones, and so on and so forth. These are the kinds of systems necessary to achieve air superiority, destroy Russian fuel depots, airfields, power, transportation, military assembly areas. I got to tell you, you showed those satellite images and miles of Russian tanks and APCs and artillery. And I was reminded of the highway of death in the closing days of Desert Storm when we routed the Iraqi army. With the right equipment, the Ukrainians can do the same thing. And that's what the United States ought to be supplying them to do.
Do you buy the reasons for the resistance to doing such a thing? Do you buy that if we did that, it would escalate and we'd be seen as a party to this? Or do you not buy it?
No. No, I don't buy it, because the fact of the matter
then why
is,
won't we do
it? I'm sorry?
Well, I wonder what is the real reason that we won't do it then? Why not? Why do we give them enough to hang on for a protracted entanglement, but not enough to potentially win?
Well, it's a wonderful question. And frankly, what I'd suggest to you is that Putin's rhetoric has done more to deter action for the U.S. to assist Ukraine than the U.S. has done to deter Putin's aggression and egregious acts of crimes against humanity. I mean, and so that's why I say hopefully there may be a crack in the current U.S. policy that has restricted giving the Ukrainians the kinds of weapons that they need to win. I got to tell you, Shep, if there was ever an example since World War II of a nation fighting against all odds for the freedoms that our own nation regards as inalienable, it's the people of Ukraine. So we need to support them to the greatest degree possible, not the least that we can get by with, according to bureaucrats and lawyers.